Hello YouTube, Jeff Steele here with Steele Navigator. Today's video topic is on living with your girlfriend, your wife. It can be with any relationship scenario where it's a relationship based off intimacy, okay? That type of relationship. We're not talking about a simple roommate situation. Okay, we're talking about a relationship where two individuals are getting together with physical interest in each other. Okay, this can be applied to any of those relationship scenarios. Okay, but from my perspective, just so we can have an example, we're going to focus on guy and a girlfriend. Okay, so why a guy and a girlfriend should not live together. Okay, absolutely should not live together. And I would even argue that I'm not going to get on the topic of whether you should get married or not, but I would argue that this is a reason why most marriages end in divorce. Okay, so I've studied sociology. I think in America the first marriage has a divorce rate of around 53%, and I think the second marriage is around 75%, and the third and subsequent marriages, the divorce rate just goes up and up in percentages. Okay, and I think the main reason that initial divorce rate has not jumped higher over the last few years is that there are fewer people getting married. Okay, that's what I think. So why are people getting divorced? Okay, I think this has a lot to do with it. People moving in together, living together, having too much togetherness, too much together time. Okay, so people move in together for a variety of reasons in regards to relationships. From the male's perspective, usually the biological imperative is, okay, well, my girlfriend wants to move in with me. He's thinking, or a guy gets married, his wife's moving in with him, or he's moving in with her, vice versa. In his mind, the biological imperative is to have unlimited access to unlimited sex, okay? And so that's usually what the guy's thinking. I'll be able to get it whenever I want, as much as I want. Okay, that's usually the motivating factor there, and also there's some other thoughts, logical thoughts on both parties, such as, hey, we can split the rent, we can split the property taxes, we can split the internet bill, garbage bill, all the bills we can split. One person can cook, one person can clean, one person can mow the lawn. Basically, all the household chores and bills can be divided by at least two people, and financially it's a smart decision. Okay. Also, in looking logically at time, the more time that is available to manage a given household with two people versus one. Okay, one person manage a household is extremely difficult. Okay. There's not two people to take the garbage out. There's not two people to get the mail. It's one person doing everything. Okay, so there are a lot of logical reasons to move in with the person you're in a relationship with. However, I think most of us can agree that for the majority of our lives, between a husband and a wife, guy and his girlfriend, any relationship situation, sex is honestly involved, and that is the glue that holds the relationship together. Okay, it's super important to have that area of the relationship on point. It is the glue that holds the relationship together. Okay, once that is gone, that relationship becomes no different than another roommate situation. Okay, no different than a brother and a sister relationship, father-daughter relationship. Okay, that is what it will eventually become once the sex goes away, because then there is no honestly there is no differentiation there between those types of relationships. Okay, so in other words, sex must be the priority of the relationship, the glue that holds it together. Well, what happens is when two people start to live together, when they have that much togetherness, there's a chemical change that happens within the brain on both parties. For women, it usually happens faster than men. For men, it's a much slower process. Well, what happens is, so you got a guy and a girl, chemically with time, again, it varies on every situation depending on how much those two individuals are together, and it varies from male to female. With time, chemically, it starts to become a brother-sister type of relationship, okay? There becomes too much familiarity, okay? Both individuals become ever more comfortable with each other, okay? Become ever more open with each other. And I would argue that those are all good points in most of our relationships, but when it comes to husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, where sex is a center part of the relationship, it's a very bad thing, okay? The more those areas, the areas of familiarity and comfort come between two individuals, the less sex, okay? The less excitement sex brings, the less priority sex becomes. This is what happens, okay? The beginning of the relationship, they don't live together. They start to live together, starts to do this, okay? That's what happens. And then something happens, things happen, relationship ends, okay? Because we humans, we need sex, okay? To have a successful life, that is one of our needs, okay? So, there are pros and cons to both scenarios. Living together, okay? I can count on one hand of all of the people I have known growing up, also including my brother's friends growing up, as far as the parents that were married that stayed together, okay? So about, let's say, 2-3% of all of the marriages that I'm familiar with in my circle, my brother's circle, only 2-3% are still together today. The other 98% divorced. A lot of them multiple divorcees, okay? And it all goes back to too much togetherness, living together, okay? I've done a lot of research in that a lot of the successful marriages out there, the husband and the wife do not have a lot of togetherness, okay? There might be one individual in the marriage that might travel a lot for work, so they might only be home a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days a week. And so when they are together, it's really intimate, okay? They're really focused on each other. When a husband and wife sees, or a boyfriend and girlfriend sees each other on a daily basis, they just sort of take each other for granted, okay? They vent to each other. They're too open. They don't focus on the important things. They talk too much about day-to-day operations and such, okay? And that is a big deal. Something else of note is something called competition anxiety, okay? Now, what that is before two people in a relationship move in together, there is a subconscious anxiety within. It's in the male side, it's also in the female side, okay? So basically, competition is a good thing, okay? It enables us and motivates us, male and female, to be the best we can be. To always focus on continuous improvement in every area of our day-to-day life. When we have not yet locked in a relationship per se, whether that be moving in with someone, getting married, putting a title on a relationship, okay, where this video is focusing on moving in, okay, there's always in the subconscious mind the thought that there is still competition out there that can take that individual away from me, okay? When two people don't live together, that competition anxiety between both parties is really high, okay? Because there's always a thought, and whether that thought be made known or if it's a subconscious thought, that, hey, my girlfriend, she could have a guy over at her place right now and I wouldn't even know it. Or she can invite somebody over. Or same thing, well, my boyfriend, he could have another girl over and I wouldn't know it. Or he's not at home, or is he? Or is he home? I'm not sure. Okay, so competition is a beautiful thing, not just in business, but also in relationships, okay? It keeps things interesting. It allows a level of uncertainty, and just knowing that maybe that person could find somebody else and not you. Could be happy with somebody else. That enables, that motivates both parties to be on their best behavior, to be genuine with each other, to be more loving, more affectionate with each other when they are together. I have found, I don't know if guys do this a lot. Say if they go to their girlfriend or their, say if they're husband and wife and they live apart, if say a guy goes over to his girlfriend's place, I don't know how much this happens in that regard, but I can tell you from my own personal regard, I've been living single and alone for about 3.5 years now, consistent. And I've dated various girls, had various girlfriends, and what I see a lot of girls doing that come to visit me, especially if I've been dating them for a while, is that they start to mark their territory, okay? They'll leave sunglasses on the table. They'll leave a pair of underwear, a bra, a comb, a brush. They'll leave makeup on your dresser, okay? If there's dust on the dresser, they'll write their name on the dresser. I've had that happen multiple times. I've had girls write their name in lipstick on my bathroom mirror, or write a note in lipstick on the bathroom mirror. I've seen, and that, just think of it as that individual marking their territory, because they have that competition anxiety within, knowing that, hey, there could be another lady that comes over here and I not know about it. I need to make it known that this is my man. Okay, I've seen that with multiple girls coming to my place in various forms. Okay, many forms. Again, I don't know how much it happens as far as a guy going to a girl's place. I've never done that personally. Maybe it happens out there. I don't know. Okay, maybe it varies from person to person, situation to situation. I'm just communicating my experience. So do I have experience living with a woman, a girlfriend? Yes, I do. I lived with a girlfriend for about 4 years, okay? So we were pretty much married without the paperwork, without the state getting involved, okay? So I can absolutely speak from that point of view as well. So the way it happened in my scenario, my girlfriend at the time was renting a house with a couple other girls, and she just wasn't consistent with paying her bills, and I had been dating her for a couple of years already, and she would stay over from time to time, and slowly she started bringing some things over, and as they say, a lot of times this is how it happens. It just sort of happened, okay? And I gave her a key, and mostly all she had anyways was clothes, shoes, and makeup. She didn't really have anything else in her car, so there wasn't any furniture or anything, so it just sort of happened. And it was good for the first year, I'd say, sex was regular. And after that, it started to taper down. Okay. So maybe sex was 4 or 5 days a week. And then maybe in the next year, it might have been 2, 3 days a week. And then it sort of went to 1 day a week. And then it went to maybe once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks. And I'll be honest with you, I just sort of, there was so much togetherness there. I mean, she was an absolutely beautiful girl. Absolutely beautiful. Makeup artist, absolutely beautiful, okay? But my sexual attraction for her, just went out the window, okay? It very much became a brother-sister relationship. I adored her as I would a younger sister, took care of her, loaned her money multiple occasions, was there for her just like an older brother would be or a father would be. That is how the relationship evolved, okay? To the point of where she'd be asking me for sex, okay? And eventually I just lost the attraction for her. And I was just torn for probably a year, last year, and I wound up ending the relationship, and she had to move out, okay, and because it was my place, my name was on the apartment lease at the time. And I can tell you this: when you ask somebody or tell somebody that they need to start looking for somewhere else to live, it is easier said than done, okay? Trying to get a person to move out, find another place to live, is extremely difficult, especially if they might not have the means to do so, or even if they have the means. A lot of time housing these days is difficult to find. Vacancies are very few. So again, you must be extremely cautious in this situation. I would advise against living with your partner, okay, your sexual partner. Absolutely advise against it 100%, okay? Now, again, I had mentioned the scenarios where they were successful. Those are usually relationship scenarios where there's not a lot of togetherness. There is lots of separation. Okay, so that level of competition anxiety is maintained to some extent. But be advised that it must be maintained. And I can assure you that you will have more passionate relationships by living separately, not cohabitating together. I can promise you. There have been numerous studies done to where husband and wives got together, got married, moved in together. And for example, they'll take a can of beans, dry beans. Okay. Every time that couple has sex, they take a bean out of the jar. Okay. The second year, okay, usually the jar is near empty after the first year. Most scenarios in this particular study that they did. The second year, each time they have sex, they're supposed to move the beans from jar 2 back to the original jar 1. And I think in 90+% of the scenarios, relationship scenarios, they never filled that second jar. Okay? That is a testament to the decrease in frequency of sexual encounters between two individuals when they move in together. Okay? So, again, in my scenario, when I lived with my girlfriend, the pros were I got awesome, amazing home-cooked meals daily. She was an excellent cook. Absolutely loved that. Appreciated everything that she did. Okay? That was probably the main, and for example, she did help out with the bills. That was awesome. Okay, so extra cash flow. And for example, if there were things that needed to be got at the store, Okay, I might not have to make a run. I could tell her to, or ask her to make a run, and she would do it. Things such as that if I was busy. So again, there are pros, there are cons. However, sex is the glue that holds a relationship together. So even if those pros are there, they do not outweigh the pro of a healthy sex life. They do not outweigh that. That is more important. Okay? Doesn't matter what relationship you're in, the scenario, that is an absolute priority. Okay? Other than that, it's a roommate situation. Point simple, point blank. And if sex is ever involved, it will not end well. Okay? So, overall, I highly advise against living with your sexual partner. 100%. Okay? There are pros to cons, but I can assure you the cons far outweigh the pros, because eventually the relationship will end. Okay? Now, your grandparents' generation, our grandparents' generation, okay, they stayed together. Today, people do not stay together. Successful marriages are very few and far in between, and also cohabitating relationships, same thing, okay? So let's start a conversation on this topic. Comment down below. I will put links down below for literature. There's probably going to be mostly men that watch this video, so there's going to be some text that I will put links down below that will absolutely help you in your relationships, that have absolutely helped me. Tap the thumbs up icon if you would, and share this video. I want to get this word out because I believe it will absolutely help every person out there, no matter what relationship scenario they are in. Subscribe to the channel. I try to bring as much value as I can. I do appreciate you watching. Have a nice evening.